Hey, this is Greg Oxley,
I'm Michelle Romanek.
and this is your home visitor resource guide to asking difficult questions. And this is part one of a YouTube series, and we're going to talk about substance abuse today.
I'd like to introduce Stephanie Barnett with us today. She's been in the home visiting field for 13 years. She currently works for Ohio County MyHow as a supervisor, and she's really passionate about serving the needs of her community, which is where substance abuse is really common.
So we have some questions from home visitors and ourselves, and based on that, our survey we sent out some concerns. So our first question is, as a home visitor, why should I think about substance abuse? What should I talk about with substance abuse with my families?
So I think home visitors have a very unique role and opportunity. Our clients look up to us, but we also have a really great opportunity with our clients to talk about stuff that may not be addressed in other fields. So we get to talk about the elephant in the room.
So when is a good time to talk about substance abuse with the family?
Honestly, the best time to approach bringing up substance abuse is at enrollment. And then at times whenever we're already doing screenings anyway. Something simple like an SBIRT screening or a CAGE screening can be used at enrollment. And it's best to complete these screenings just by asking regular questions like we're asking about due date or address. Just kind of matter of fact, here's a screening, we have to complete this, and not have any judgment in your voice or leading into any other kind of conversation. It's just, it is what it is.
You mentioned some screening tools. What are those screening tools? Do you have a favorite that you like to use?
So we currently use the SBIRT screening, but I think we're going to switch over to CAGE. And the CAGE screening is a really simple 4-question screening, and it looks at a couple of different questions. One is whether or not you need to cut down on your use. Another one is whether or not people are annoyed over your drinking or your drug use. Another one is, do you feel guilty over your drinking or drug use? And the last one is, do you need like an eye opener in the morning in order to kind of recover from yesterday? And the questions are just yes/no questions. They're very objective, and it's quite simple to score. A yes question is a point, a no question is no points. So it's very simple to use.
What would I do if a family screens positive?
So there's, you have a really unique opportunity at that point to say, listen, I'm glad that you feel like you can confide in me, or I'm glad that you're able to be honest with me for this screening, but I am concerned for your health or maybe the health of you and your baby. And at that point, that's a great time to offer the resources from Help for West Virginia and say, here's a great website, here's a great tool, we can help connect you to some services, and offer to do that with them while you're at the home visit. And even if your screening comes up positive, it's still a great chance for you to say, listen, I'm glad this isn't a problem for you, but I'd like to leave you with this information from Help for West Virginia. So that way, if you know someone or if you have a friend or a family member who may need this information, you have it and you have the tools that you may need.
So what if my agency doesn't want me to use that screening tool?
So even if you don't have a screening tool to use, we still ask those questions whenever we complete the demographic form. If you'll remember, the demographic form asks questions like, have you been pregnant below 21? Is there a member of the family that's in the military? There's also a question in there about drug and alcohol use. And so that's a great time to ask that question and be able to say, do you or someone you know that lives in the home have a problem with drug or alcohol use? And if the answer is no, go back to, that's great, I'm glad this isn't a problem for you, but here's information from Help for West Virginia. And if they say yes, it is, then still offer the information from Help for West Virginia.
What if I don't ask a family and they just disclose their substance use? What can I do?
First, I think you should take that as a compliment, that they trust you enough to just be able to unload that without you even prompting the conversation. That's a really great thing to show that you've built a really great relationship with that parent. But again, if they say yes, that's a time to thank them for confiding in you, express your concern for their health or their baby's health, and then you begin the referral process. So let's get you in touch with Help for West Virginia. Let them know that you're there for them. I'm here to help you with what you need. You want to make sure there's no judgment in your voice, because again, this isn't what we're going through, it's what they're going through. If they're not ready at that moment to get help, let them know that you're still there to encourage them, that you'll sit with them at any point to make that phone call. And then also I want to add that perhaps at that point you should bring in your supervisors, because you're going to need the help in order to kind of process what's going on with your families too.
So what if I know substance abuse is happening? It's obvious there's a problem in the household, but the family just lies. They won't disclose it with me that is going on there.
Well, at some point everyone's ready to disclose, but maybe they're not. So at that point, you probably, if there are obvious signs, you probably need to discuss with your supervisor. But there may need to be a CPS report. You may need to document things that you've seen or heard, or why you suspect that there might be drug use in the home. And I would work closely with your supervisor at that point, because it could be multiple CPS referrals.
So what do I do if I still have questions?
I think this is a good point for you to be able to go to your direct supervisor. So if you're a home visitor, go to your supervisor and ask, can we implement a policy? Can we add a screening? I know this is in my community, and we want to see how we can touch those families, and we want to make sure that we can engage them in the program. If you're a supervisor, you need to go to your supervisor and say, this may be something that we need more information about.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for talking with us and meeting us here in Ogilvie Park in Wheeling, West Virginia. We're on site.
Woo-hoo!
And thanks for your time and all the work that you put into your research for this.
You're welcome.
And please like our video and subscribe to the channel. And the resources that Stephanie mentioned will be provided as a link on our West Virginia Home Visitation group band app.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.